On April 20th, 1857, the first revolution to establish independence in the country from the British colonialists started in Kasauli, Himachal. On this day, 6 Indian soldiers of Ambala Rifles were hanged at Kasauli station. Balaji imprisoned many revolutionaries in dark jails and hanged many. The spark ignited by the wave of revolution in Kasauli engulfed the entire Himachal and ignited the flame of freedom through the martyrdom of the people. After Kasauli, the wave of revolution spread throughout Himachal, including Daksai, Subathu, Kalka and Jutog cantonments. As soon as British received information about the rebellion in Meerut, Delhi and Ambala, the British ordered the soldiers of Kasauli cantonment to march to Ambala, which the Indian soldiers did not agree to and openly rebelled and took up the guns. At the same time, a secret organization was formed to conduct revolution in the entire country. Its leader in the mountains was Pandit Ram Prasad Bairagi. On 12th of June 1857, some letters from the organization reached the commissioner of Ambala. There were also 2 letters from Ram Prasad Bairagi. Due to this, the secret of the organization was exposed and Bairagi was caught and hanged in Ambala jail. However, as a result of the spark that was awakened by the revolutionaries at that time, the country became free from the slavery of British after 90 years.
खानदानी लुटेरों की कोशिश होगी बेकार, फिर एक बार मोदी सरकार।
सर्टिफिकेट डिप्लोमा के 74 कोर्सेज, आर्किडीएफ यूनिवर्सिटी।
On April 20th, 1960, Panna Ghosh, considered the father of modern flute, died in New Delhi. Panna Ghosh established folk instruments like flute as classical instrument. Due to his effort, flute has an important place in today's fusion music. Panna Ghosh also played flute in many films, which is considered unique even today. These films include many famous films like Mughal-e-Azam and Basant Bahar. Panna Ghosh's real name was Amal Jyoti Ghosh. His grandfather Hari Kumar Ghosh and father Akshay Kumar Ghosh were accomplished musicians. His mother Sukumari was a famous singer. Earlier in his career, Panna Ghosh met Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, after which he participated in the independence movement as well as led a renaissance in contemporary music and poetry of the Bengal. Panna Ghosh modified the flute to make it suitable for playing from folk to classical music. He also composed some new rags. The long bamboo flute designed by him is popularly played for Hindustani classical music by later flutists. Oriya literate Gopinath Mohanty was born on April 20th, 1914. His first novel was published in 1940 titled Man Gahirara Chasa. Its meaning in Hindi is deep desire. Gopinath's 5 novels and several stories have also been translated into English. However, the nuances of their English language are very difficult to represent in English, but the translators have nevertheless tried to convey the richness and complexity of the original texts to readers unfamiliar with Oriya. Gopinath Mohanty was awarded the Jananpath Award in 1973 for his contribution to Oriya literature. Later, in 1981, he was also awarded Padma Bhushan by the Government of India in the field of literature and education. On April 20th, 1946, the League of Nations, the predecessor organization of United Nations, was officially dissolved and all its assets were handed over to the United Nations. The League of Nations was established on January 10, 1920, after the end of the First World War. Its main objective was to maintain international peace and increase cooperation among nations. The League of Nations achieved some successes in the 1920s but was unable to stop the invasion of Axis powers in the 1930s. The beginning of World War II showed that the League had failed in its primary objective. In 1946, the United Nations replaced the League of Nations. On April 20th, 1902, Madame Marie Curie and her husband Pierre Curie isolated the radioactive substances radium and polonium from a mineral called pitchblende. His discovery brought a new revolution in scientific world. Pierre Curie discovered later proved to be a boon in the treatment of cancer. For his discovery, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1903. In 1911, Marie Curie was awarded the second Nobel Prize for purification of radium. Pierre Curie died in a road accident on April 19, 1906 in Paris. Even after this, Marie Curie continued to be engaged in research. Due to working under radiation for a long time, she developed a disease called leukemia, after which Madame Marie Curie died on July 4, 1934.
खानदानी लुटेरों की कोशिश होगी बेकार, फिर एक बार मोदी सरकार।
सर्टिफिकेट डिप्लोमा के 74 कोर्सेज RKDF यूनिवर्सिटी।
On April 20th, 1889, the world's most cruel dictator Adolf Hitler was born in Austria. After his father's death, he went to Vienna in 1907. After this, Hitler joined the army. After Germany's defeat in 1911, Hitler left the army in 1990 and formed the Nazi Party. Its purpose was to snatch all rights from the communists and Jews because he believed that it was because of the communists and Jews that Germany was defeated. In 1923, Hitler tried to overthrow the German government but was not successful. In February 1924, Hitler was tried for treason and sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, he remained in jail only for 9 months. Shortly after his release from prison, Hitler noticed Germany was suffering from a worldwide economic depression. Hitler regained popularity by taking advantage of public dissatisfaction. He decided to contest the elections. Hitler was not successful in being elected president in 1932 elections, but in 1933 he became the Chancellor of Germany. After this, he declared the Communist Party illegal and started the massacre of Jews. With the aim of establishing the German Empire, Hitler broke all the treaties with neighboring countries and attacked them, due to which the Second World War broke out in 1939. Then, on April 30th, 1945, Hitler started feeling that now he would not be able to win. His defeat was certain, but he did not want to fall into the hands of the enemy alive at any cost. So he decided to commit suicide and committed suicide by shooting himself. Apollo 16 landed on Moon on April 20th, 1972. On April 16th, 1972, American Space Agency NASA launched Apollo 16. The satellite was 10th crewed mission in the US Apollo space program. This was the 5th and final mission to land on the Moon. The mission consisted of Commander John Young, Lunar Module pilot Charles Duke, and Command Module pilot Ken Mattingly. Apollo 16 launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida on April 16, 1972, encountered several minor glitches on its way to Moon. It returned safely to Earth on April 27, 1972.